Hey guys, Bolt here. We're here for a quick little Dokkan idea. So this is gonna be a Bolt topic based on Dokkan Battle, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, which is a bubble breaker kind of game. Most of you who have seen some videos on here and some over on CR Bolt Entertainment. What am I talking about here? So basically, there's a few people who are like, hey, this could happen. This could be a possible thing. My thing is, I'm thinking about stuff that would make the game amazing. There'd be several things that can make it hype. So let's get into it. Let's start with mechanics changed and maybe some things you can introduce with characters. So the biggest thing that I would suggest would be some of the more complaints that bigger YouTubers of this kind of content complain about constantly, which is personalization. Make it to where hubs, names, you can there's a power level in there, and Truth is one of the people that says I want it to look a certain way. I want commas. And then there's other things like the box space. If you want to go sell something, some people don't like the max out option. I'm one of those people. It'd be nice to have the option to just display them as separate units and just tap on them so it's quicker. It might take a little bit longer, but it just feels unnatural to do the tap and then max out, tap and max out. Also, you misclick it sometimes, so you still have a bunch left. So personalization, my next big thing would be, just like Dragon Ball Legends, they need to introduce a skipping thing, especially to older content. So some of the newer content, every time you do an event for upgrading a character, for awakening them, there's Z Awakenings, which is known as so I'm trying to think. So there's normals that can go into rares, and rares can go into SRs, and SRs can go into SSRs. And those are just awakenings, normal awakenings, and then a Z Awakening is from an SR to a UR, I believe. Well, no, and then a Dokkan Awakening is a UR to a trans. Oh, what is it called? It's it's a higher tier of UR, and then after that you can make them Dokkan Awaken into an LR, and it's basic metals all the way to changing to from a normal to a rare, and then a SSR to a UR are normals, but a UR to a TUR and a TUR to an LR requires metals from events. There's several events out there that to get certain metals, you have to. There's the newer events give you 7 no matter what, as long as you do the hardest difficulty. Where I think you get a random number if it's the basic one. But there's older stuff where it only gives you a random number of medals. It'd be nice for you to be able to skip those levels and just get as many medals as you can, since it's annoying to guesstimate how many runs you got to do. And this would also help with some other things like Prime Battle, which is a free-to-play LR, but it takes 777 medals to get it. It'd be nice to just skip. Still consume stamina and other stuff if you need to, but hey, at least make it to where I don't got to do it for hours upon hours to get it done. So there's the skipping mechanic. Next would be the friend system alongside the friend summons. So for friends, you can in the middle, you can either, if you know someone, you can get their code and you can send them a friend request, or if you're playing with someone with their unit like when you go to fight, you choose someone to go along with for their leader skill in their unit. And at the very end of the battle, you can send them a request to use their unit as a friend unit. And every time you use a friend unit, you get friend points. A big issue that a lot of YouTubers have is sometimes the only friends you can find are some of the most better units. You can't find some of the units that are required for a little bit more funky opportunities, like, hey, this leads bond to friendship. You can barely get that unit because people don't care for that unit anymore. It'd be nice for people to just duplicate a team member they have, or a unit in their box. It'd be nice just to give them an extra unit to throw on the team, or just let them duplicate something from the team so they can just double up. But do not give them friend points for doing this, of course. But anyways, that's kind of my idea, is just duplicate your team members, or get it from your box space. And then, of course, I'd also say make it almost unlimited, or make it to the local number of people you can make friends. There's a limited amount of them. You should just make it to where local numbers can be matched. Going on to the friend summon. Friend summons are by far one of the outdated systems in the entire Dokkan. Because it hasn't updated in a while. What I would suggest is, we used to have a system where you just had to luck out on summons to get even an SSR. Getting a guaranteed SSR makes it fun to summon. So what would we make it fun for friend summons and be good for free-to-play players and new players is make it to where you get Hercule statues, which are able to be exchanged for the in-game currency known as Zenny. This helps you upgrade characters, level them up, and all that other stuff. You basically need Zenny to run the game. So Hercule statues are a part of this, but they're 50-50, getting them in a summon, in the friend summons. So what would be nice is at least guarantee the lowest amount of a Hercule statue, which is a bronze Hercule statue. Guarantee that. That's guaranteed them to at least get 250 Zenny, which would make people want to summon on it more, because that means they get a guaranteed amount of Zenny. Also, I would suggest introducing Drowsy Kai's, which is Elder Kai, but in his little sleepy position, and it gives a 30% chance to level up super attack. It'd be amazing for you to introduce that concept for it. That way people want to summon more on the friend summon and want to use more friends and want to play more, because now you have a thing that helps their units get better. And I would suggest another thing, which is every time you do a friend summon, you give them a blue coin. A blue coin is normally exchanged for Elder Kai's, which are the guaranteed super attack upgraders. And there's normally only 10 of them every 2 weeks, I think it is. Every time there's a new summon banner, there's a new banner for Elder Kai's, and for every time you summon on those, you get 10. I think you get an Elder Kai off of them. And you could do there's also category summons, which is you give the GSSRs, which are the guaranteed SSRs from summons. They become a category where one of their categories, there's 5 units that are more newer that can be put on this category. That way, if you need a boost in certain categories, you can summon on them. And blue coins can be exchanged for the Elder Kai's. I think there's 10 Elder Kai's off of the banner. And then if there's a category summon, you can get coins for the characters that are on that category summon. Make it to where friend summon gives you those coins. May not be a lot of coins, but make it to where it's worth doing it, because you can work your way towards more Elder Kai's and work your way towards these SSRs you may not want to summon on because it takes Dragon Stones, which is the paid for Dragon in-game currency that does. You can get some of it in the game, but it's very hard to accumulate. That way you can get more SSRs that you're wanting. You can get more Elder Kais. And another thing that I would suggest is do stuff that's on that Friend Summon banner. Include Hercule statues. Include the Drowsy Kai. And include the Friend Summon LRs, which were same in number 1 and 2. Which is like as long as you have all the color types on the thing, you get a certain boost. There is Future 17 and 18, and there is LR Hercule and Boo. They're very old units, but they're nice to even have at the beginning. If you have trouble getting those units, you should be able to have the opportunity just to get them with blue coins. And make it low enough and make sure that there's enough copies to rainbow them out. Which is kind of just, there is a tree system. You can use potential orbs to get through, and it makes the character a lot better. So including the Friend Summon LRs, Hercule statues, the Drowsy Kais. I would also keep the Elder Kais and Category Summon SSRs. Another big thing I would suggest is every weekend, there's 2 ideas here. No matter what, you should have every weekend multiply the number of Friend Summon points needed to summon on this particular banner for weekend, but make it to where you can get Elder Kais and a higher, like I think it's the Diamond Hercule statue that doesn't come up on the banners. I think you can get Platinum. Include the Diamond and the Elder Kais you can summon on the weekend. That way, the weekends, people come back and want to play as much as they can to try to get all of the stuff they can from that. And increase the number of Elder Kais on the weekend that you can get on the blue coin banners. Make it to where you can get the diamonds on there too. And the biggest thing I would suggest that would fix the game, on normal banners, there are SSRs that are useless now. It sounds like we're going to do a thing called Z Awakening 2. So Extreme Z Awakening is basically when a unit gets at least 3 years older, 3 or more years older, they awaken it again so it gets into closer to the new meta. There's a lot of bad ones that don't happen, and there's some very good ones, but they're wanting to do a second one. I call it Ultra Awakening, and it would be nice to see this, and it's supposed to make units that have already been Extreme Z awaken again, and for my personal thing, I would make it to where they're level 150, and they have 20 super attack. That way they're on par with LRs. Make it to where the art gets updated and makes it very similar to LRs. And then also I would suggest for a lot of the more hype things like Dokkan Fest units, which are the banner big boys, make it to where those guys have updated animations. Not the best of the best animation, but make it to where it's decent to look at. That's what I would say. And then for those units that are like almost 9 years old, I'd say anything from 5th anniversary lower than that should be put on a weekend banner for friend summons. That way you have a chance at getting SSRs from old stuff. You can get it with blue coins. That way you can get people who are collecting. They don't have to go through this banner and have a chance at it. Also, it'd remove it from the main banner. That way summoning would actually be worth something. And then also, slowly add Dokkan festivals on there too. As they get Ultra Awakened, it'd be nice to see that. And then, so basically, Make the basic one have the bronze statue guaranteed, include drowsy Kais, and on the weekend introduce Elder Kais and Diamond Hercule statues. Make it to where the blue coins can be given by summoning on the friend play summons. And also you get a chance at more Hercule statues, drowsy Kais, Elder Kais, and then I would include GSSRs over from the banners. That way they stop appearing on these banners and stuff that you like in-game like shop currency, where it's worth something if you get good characters. But I would suggest slowly introducing characters over, that way they can stop showing up and make the banners worth more to summon on. Because it would be crappy on like the 9th anniversary banner, and you get the very first SSR that came out, and it's so useless. Do that, and then I think that's it. Also introduce the LRs, like the Intelligence Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Gohan, I mean, slowly introduce those on the friend summon banner as well. That way, it shows that they're not trying to rip off the Dokkan people. Okay, moving on. We've done tickets, we've done personalization, we've done friend system, we've done the friend summons. Another big thing, box space. There needs to be a lot more box space, and more opportunities to increase box space. There's an issue that they really shouldn't have, that Truth mentions. If you run out of box space, you should not stop people from summoning. You're wanting people's money. If you're summoning, you should not be stopped just because your limit has been reached. Yes, stop us from playing the game and doing other things, but do not stop us from summoning. That would be amazing. Thank you. And then, let's see, there's that. I think that's it for basic stuff. Moving on to free-to-play options. Here are some big things I would suggest to make it more worthwhile for new players and free-to-play players. Every time you release a new SSR that goes into a UR, make it to where every single one is able to be Extreme Z Awakened, but that way they can work towards stronger people to go against on some of the hardest difficulties. That would save a lot of grief from a lot of players if you just Extreme Z Awakened some of the newer stuff. So things that are so old or like haven't had it a while, it'd be nice to have them Extreme Z Awakened. Every time a Prime battle, which is another free-to-play LR option, easy A them. So I think we have LRTN and LR Dr. Wheelo. Please easy A those characters. There's a thing called Virtual Battle where you get to fight several people of a certain theme. And they give you like crystals that you can do for more free-to-play LRs. Easy A those LRs in the shop. Like there's a Metal Cooler Army. There's an Oob that goes Maju. Easy A those characters. So a lot of easy A's for free-to-plays. Also, here's the thing that would help a lot of grief and make it easier. Almost every big character of the entire franchise, make an event for Dragon Ball Saga, Dragon Ball movies, Dragon Ball Z movies, Dragon Ball Super movies, the Dragon Ball GT movie. Make the sagas have different events. I know there's Dragon Ball stories, and that makes it easier to get a hold of characters and a lot more medals, and you don't have to constantly wait for certain events to pop up, and you don't have to spend keys for old events. Make it to where there's stories that have every big character of that saga or that movie show up. It'd be nice to have a Bio Brawly that's decent, a LR Brawly that's decent, not an LR Brawly. A legendary Super Saiyan Brawly. So basically, every single big character that has some kind of fan base, make it a free to play character. You don't have to make them amazing, but make them to where, someone like free to play players can go and jump on most of the medium hard content. That way they have decent enough characters. Some characters that I would suggest going out and just blowing up would be like, I would suggest every other Saga event introduce a Goku and Vegeta that's broken. Saiyan Saga Goku and Vegeta that has an active skill, which is like the special ability. Make it to where they become Kaioken Goku and Grade 8 Vegeta. Make a Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta unit that goes into Super Vegeta and Super Kaioken Goku. Super Saiyan 2s, Super Saiyan 3s, Super Saiyan 4s, Super Saiyan Gods, Super Saiyan Blues that go into Kaioken in Evolution. And this also leads into Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Make it to where we can get a big banner unit, make an LR Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta that has Carnival which is the 200% leaders for the Super Dragon Ball Heroes, or a crossover character. Or, heck, make it Grade 8 Power. Okay, moving on to... free-to-play LRs through those events. Make it to where you can get Carnival characters that are LRs that we don't get to see a lot of, and make it to where through EZA they can become Carnival levels. For Dragon Ball Saga, make it to where there's an exchange. Okay, my biggest thing, make these characters exchange from super class to extreme class. That way, every time there's the boss that you're fighting, make it to where that unit goes to the proper class. That way, they're fighting starting a decent fight. Dragon Ball Saga, a Demon King Piccolo / Kami. That way, they can lead Namekians. There's no movie LRs I thought of. Saiyan Saga, make a Grade 8 Raditz who leads Saiyan Saga. Namek Saga, make probably I'd say a Dodoria and a Krillin that exchanges into Zarbon and Kid Gohan. That way they have a little bit more decency. For Cell Saga, make a Super Saiyan Vegeta and a Future Cell that transform into Second Form Cell and Super Vegeta. I'll skip Buu Saga for now. GT, the Ultimate Dragon Ball Search Saga, make a Lord Lude and a Pan and Giru. For Super 17 arc, make it a GT Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Majub. And then make the Extreme class side of it a Metal Rildo, the 17s, in a Nappa. GT Nappa. And then, have Majub and Nappa be like the background attackers. And then for the Shadow Dragon Saga, I wouldn't exactly show off I wouldn't do anything for super class. Just do a LR Carnival leader for Shadow Dragon Saga, send Shenron. That would be amazing. Introduce that onto the Carnival Omega team. It'd be amazing. For Dragon Ball Super, Universe 6 Saga, make a hit. Make a Universe... Let's see, after that it would be the Future Saga. I won't do too much with Future Saga. We've had a lot of decent units, so I wouldn't touch that. I would only say if you're going to do any manga-inspired stuff, make a Super Saiyan Goku Black. And then if we ever get to stuff like Moro, make a go back to the Goku and Vegeta free-to-play units and do a true Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta. Be amazing. And then for Tournament of Power, skip. I don't do anything for that because there's a lot of good banner units. But make it to where almost every character has some decent free-to-play unit. Make LRs that help in those sagas. My biggest idea for the Boo Saga, though, 3 free-to-play LRs, because this was supposed to be the very end of Dragon Ball period, and this is like probably the most hype saga to me. Boo Saga leader be the LR Super Saiyan 2 Goku that can on extreme unit side be Majin Vegeta. And then for the other 2, they be the World Tournament Carnival and the Inhuman Deeds Carnival. LR Videl and LR Majin Spokovich. Make it from the fight between them because it's one of the most brutal and to me was one of the most memorable fights in the entire of Dragon Ball history. Make them LR units that are decent, have Carnival, finish off those 2 old leads. And that's it for free-to-play stuff. Moving on to banner ideas. So I think we've done through most of the ideas that I've had. But let's go through like each saga. So starting with Dragon Ball Saga. Dragon Ball Saga is kind of outplayed because there's so few big bads in that thing. 1 second. Okay. Anyways, for Dragon Ball Saga, it's kind of hard. I'd suggest just leaning in very nice with the with the LRs and the free-to-play units. I mean, I would release So a lot of GSSRs in these banners, I would suggest making it to where they do some big support roles, and they won't do high damage, but they can protect themselves. That way they can be on the third character, and just protect themselves but support the rest of the team. It would be like a Youth Goku and a Nam that do like Earth-bred fighters, World Tournament, tournament participants would be amazing for them to have. Do a Pilaf machine, do a mercenary Tau and a Cyborg Tau would be nice. Do an Aurelie, a General Blue, get Red and Black in there. And then, since we already did LR Demon King Piccolo, don't do that. So it's just a lot of smaller GSSRs that would support that team a little bit better. Moving on to the movies of Dragon Ball Z and GT and Super. There isn't a lot you can do with Super and GT movies, but there's a lot you can do with Dragon Ball Z movies. One thing, make a GSSR of Dr. Wheelo and Garlic Jr. with their henchmen. That way it's a different named character, but they'd be nice to boost movie bosses. Then do... Let's see, Turtles is outplayed. Do a Dokkan Fest of do a Dokkan Fest TUR of Lord Slug, make him giant form. A TUR of Piccolo that can exchange or stand by into false Super Saiyan Goku. That way we get to finally see that character in the game. And then kind of do what you did with TUR Turles, the physical one, where you'd have the henchmen of Lord Slug broken up into 2 GSSRs, and make them some of the better movie boss supports. Then going on to Android 13, make a GSSR for 14 and 15. For Bojack, make the the one that Trunks fights in that movie, it starts with Go something, and then the other two that had like little strings. Basically, every henchman except for Zingenya, for BoJack, make them a unit. That way they can support their either make a free-to-play Bio Brawly or make it a GSSR. You could do a good LR Dokkan Fest Brawly that starts as a Brawly, standbys into a Super Saiyan Brawly, and then release standby into to Legendary Super Saiyan Brawly. That way, Z Brawly has a decent unit again. Let's see, we did that. There's not a lot to do with Hirudegan or Fusion Reborn. There's only 2 big Fusion Reborn units. Okay, maybe 2 GSSRs. For the smaller units, making a Super Saiyan 3 Goku that does like the warped transformation scene when he becomes Super Saiyan 3 in the Fusion Reborn movie. Make that a unit. Make the mini Janimbas be a unit. And then my 2 big things would make a Carnival LR of Super Gogeta and Janimba. Make Janimba be able to transform into Super Gogeta. Super Janimba, make that an LR. That way there's a LR Janimba and an LR Super Janimba so they can fight together. And make them dual Carnival. I know for right now we've only had one lead team because Super Janimba and Super Gogeta are some of the most biggest units. Make them a dual Carnival. Make it to where Gogeta leads. We've already got movie heroes with Super Saiyan Gogeta from the 9th anniversary. Make him Fusion and not special. Make him Time Limit. Finish up Time Limit. I haven't seen Time Limit in a while. So Time Limit and Fusion. And then for Janimba, make him movie bosses because personally, he should leave because movie bosses. He's one of the most hyped movie bosses in the entire of the franchise. So movie bosses and Corrupted Mind and Body. And then we have Saiyan Saga. Only thing I would suggest for this would be a Dokkan Festival Grade 8 Nappa with a banner unit of the Cybermen. That way they actually have a decent SSR. Going on to Namek Saga. Same thing with this. There isn't a lot you can do with that. Oh, back to the Saiyan Saga. Redo the trio of Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin as a GSSR. Moving on to Namek Saga, do a GSSR of Krillin, Gohan, and Vegeta as a partnership. Do a second form Frieza as a GSSR. Do a King Cold, a Lord Chilled, a Super Saiyan Bardock, a Grandpa Gohan, and a Kid Gohan. That way, you have a well-rounded Goku family and a Wicked bloodline. Because my 2 big ideas for this saga would be Dokkan Festival LR, Kaioken times 20 Goku that stands by into kind of like 8th anniversary Z-Bros. Make it to where Piccolo is the defender as Goku's making the Spirit Bomb. But once the Spirit Bomb is launched, make him into Super Saiyan Goku. And then you have Final Form Frieza that stand by into Full Power Frieza. Make him the GT Bros of the 8th anniversary, where he will target, make him have the 9th anniversary effect where he can target himself, but make it to where he can die. He can have strong damage, but make him die pretty easily. And he does a revival mechanic into Mecha Frieza. And then make them have a new category as Z Fighters and Z Villains. That way you have just as good of a GT heroes, GT bosses, superheroes, super bosses. That way this feels like a decent 2 units. And make it to where almost everything from the movies as well gets included in this. Moving on to Cell Saga. Not much you can do with this one. I'm trying to think what you can add for this one. For sure, I would like to see a Super Goku. You know, the bulky Goku. I'd like to see him as a GSSR. And I would suggest releasing... not 16, not 17, not 18. Probably an exchange unit for Android 19. And then he can exchange into Dr. Gero. And then make it to where there's a Carnival LRs. For Super Saiyan 2s, have Gohan, and he instantly transforms. That's another one. So there was a Gohan that can instantly transform into Great Saiyan Man, but he still goes by a different name. That way you can introduce other Great Saiyan Man into that thing, even though there has been any Great Saiyan Man units. But basically, these LRs start off as Gohan Youth and Full Power Perfect Cell, the one that's bulky. So they start off on that, but they do an intro animation. That way they can turn into Super Saiyan 2 and Super Cell. And that way you don't butt heads with any other previously known units. But have Gohan the Carnival for Super Saiyan 2s and make Cell the Carnival for androids. Moving on to the Buu Saga. This is another big one. You can definitely do an LR for Gotenks. Make him probably... It would be a Dokkan Fest or a Gold Coin LR. I'm more putting towards Gold Coin LR. For probably Special Pose and Time Limit, if anything. And then another big one would be a Carnival LR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Make him the Carnival for Super Saiyan 3s because in Raging Blast 2 they had a mission where the strongest Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta was able to fight all the other Super Saiyan 3s. Make that a possible unit. A Super Saiyan 3 Carnival, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Basically we're bulking a lot of things that haven't been in a while. Make an Evil Boo GSSR and make a GSSR Candy Vegito. Going back to the Fusion Reborn, I would suggest also making a GSSR Veku. The bigger version of Gogeta. Make that a unit to where you can play it as a decent character. We don't have that animation at all. Anyways, going back to the main big boys for the Buu Saga, I would suggest a Super Vegito and a Buu that are Carnival units yet again, but make it to where they're dual Carnival like the Super Buu, Super Janemba, and Super Gogeta. Make Vegito a Carnival for Portara and final trump card, and make it to where Buu is a power absorption and Majin power. That way you can boost those two things pretty well. Moving on to... If you really wanted to go back and make the Gohan and Cell a dual Carnival, I would suggest making Gohan a youth as well and making Cell should probably be artificial life. Because I don't think you can do too much more with that. So moving on to... Let's go with Super. There isn't a lot you can do with Super right now. I would say just introduce 2 Dokkan Fest and 2 Carnivals. If you want to do a celebration setup where you would introduce a LR Super Saiyan Blue Goku and a Jiren, Goku will revive into Omen UI, and after a certain amount of energy, he'll turn into MUI. And then for Jiren, just make him have a very easy conditions, like make it a certain HP restriction that's like 75%, 4 turns, or what's the other one? Or against a certain character. And make him full power Jiren. And then make them kind of like, well, Goku you can't do too much with, but kind of like set him up for more of a just well-rounded rep of 7 team, and then have Jiren be the Universe Survival Saga Carnival. And then for part 2, make it to where it's an LR Blue Vegeta that will transform into Evolution Blue, and make Top or Topo be a carnival for Universe 11 units, and make it to where he transforms into his God of Destruction form. And for Vegeta's leader skill, make it to where he's more pertained to rep of 7 Saiyans, but he still covers 170 of rep 7s. Moving on to GT. This is a very weirdly unused category. Go back to the Baby Saga. Make a LR Super Saiyan GT, Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku that stands by into Golden Ape, but then transforms into Super Saiyan 4, and then have a baby that starts as Baby Vegeta, stands by into Super Baby Vegeta, and then becomes, based on your key, either Super Baby Vegeta 2 or Golden Ape Super Baby Vegeta. So that'd be those. I'd have a lot of GSSRs like Legic, Carnal Muchi Muchi, Rildos, Sigma Force. There's a lot of GSSRs for the GT bosses category. Introduce more of the GT heroes if you want, like a Oob and a Maju would be amazing. And then going on to Super 17, there isn't a lot you can do with that. I'd leave that alone, leave that for the free-to-play units. Then moving on to Shadow Dragon Saga. Yet again, we can't do too much with this, but we can do a few GSSRs about the Shadow Dragons, and the biggest 2 units I'd suggest making would be just like the Goku unit, a Super Saiyan GT, an LR Super Saiyan GT Vegeta that stands by into Golden Ape, but goes into Super Saiyan 4. And just like the 4th anniversary units, makes the Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku and the Super Saiyan GT Vegeta more on a supportive role for basically make them the 200% for all Goku family and Vegeta family. And then do a Super Saiyan 4 standalone Gogeta, and make it, if you're not going to use Grade 8 power for the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s, make it to where you do it with this, and make it a dual carnival, and make Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as the Fused Fighters carnival. I know that makes him very OP, but that's the whole reason for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, is just he is the undisputed fusion at the end of the road. I mean, there's the Blue Vegeta and Gogeta, but it's like, this guy was like the ultimate being in every single game ever. He's the most busted in Budokai Tenkaichi and all that. Make it to where that boy comes back and is like, I keep Patara and fusions, and I also get any Super Saiyan 4s or Grade 8 power people on my category. And make him like strong, even stronger than Beast Gohan. I'm gonna be pissed if not a single Super Saiyan 4, 3, or like very major well-known moments get stronger than Beast Gohan. We'll go on that rant a little later, but anyways, the last unit that I would suggest, I have to go back to the Dragon Ball Super. Introduce a gold coin Super Saiyan God Vegeta, and make it just about a little bit stronger than the Intelligence God Goku. Or make it introduce just as good as the physical God Goku, because people are waiting for a God Vegeta, introduce him as an equal to the intelligence, or make him just as strong as a physical God Goku. So probably I'd suggest the physical God Goku. So we went over Saiyan Saga, the Dragon Ball, so I think that's really it. So what I hate, I'm a little rant. You guys can leave now. Have a good day. Rant about Beast Gohan's gonna happen. 9th anniversary was made to bring back Dragon Ball Super as a big front runner with Super Saiyan Gogeta and Super Saiyan Broly. Very strong units, very good and decent units. It's just they're not like very overwhelming. There's a few cards that are pretty decent compared to them. But then we get to part 2. You do pretty decent with Gamma 1 and 2. They're fit for what the 9th anniversary. And then you have Beast Gohan. You break the game with Beast Gohan. Just because people wanted Beast Gohan. I do not see the hype behind Beast Gohan. I watched Daitama or something like that. The creator of the Gohan verse made Beast Gohan first as Gohan El Blanco. And it's a rip-off of that. It's just got slightly longer hair. And I hate it. Because that wasn't that hype in the Gohan verse. I did not like it in the... It looked cool. It's just... I'd rather see a Super Saiyan 2, 3, 4, or God. This is just going to be as downplayed as the Blues. Super Saiyan Blue is just a recolor of Super Saiyan that fails 90% of the time. And just the fact that Beast Gohan just came in for a few seconds to destroy everything and take the thunder from Orange Piccolo is annoying to me. And it's also just it looks ridiculous. I don't understand. So it's just there better be a good, decent unit that I'm hyped for that outbeats Gohan in strength. There's 3 contenders for the best of release. There's been Kalen Caulifla, the AGL LR. There's been Beast Gohan, and then there's been Super Gogeta from the 1st anniversary. And all 3 of those, just in the moment they were released, they bully the entire game. There better be something Super Saiyan 4 related, or GT period related, that does just as good. I need something to happen like that. But anyways, that's it. That was my rant. I'm sorry for taking your time for 15 minutes, but that was my idea for Dokkan. I didn't want to go too much on a rant. I wanted to run through as many contents as possible. But those are very big units. It's just make sure free to plays, have some Carnival LRs for very old categories that no one really cares about anymore. And then, give them good animations and decent stuff if you haven't covered them so long. We're not going to get an LR Super Saiyan 2, so it'd be nice to have Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Majin Vegeta come up as an LR. But then we have all the other big units, make sure there's grade A Nappa, there is Lord Slug and a Dokkan Fest Piccolo that goes into False Super Saiyan. Then I would suggest, Saiyan Saga was the grade A. The Namek Goku, Namek Frieza would be amazing for the Z Fighter and Z Villains. Make a Carnival Gohan and Cell. Make a Carnival Gogeta and Janemba. Carnival Vegito and Boo. And then if you wanted, make a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and who's the other one? Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Super, just make it to where a blue Goku revives into UI. Make a blue Vegeta that transforms into Evolution. Then make a top that goes into God of Destruction mode. And then make a Carnival Jiren that transforms into full power. And then God Vegeta, a gold coin would be nice. And then for GT, you have to do a transforming Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and they both go into Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan Gogeta standalone, and a baby that transforms. Those would be my most hyped units ever. I will drop all the money in the world for Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta, Goku, Gogeta. I drop any money for Gogeta. I'm more of a Gogeta fan, so bring me Super Gogeta, bring me Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or bring me death. Anyways, so Mr. Baby brought this idea of, what are you saving for? What are you going to give all your money for up? What are you going to use all your stone ups for? A decent Namek Goku, a Super Saiyan 2 Goku that's in a Super Saiyan 2 Goku or a Majin Vegeta from the Super Saiyan 2 fight, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but from the movies and not the Hirudegan one, Super Saiyan 4, anything gets all my money, Super Saiyan God Vegeta maybe, and then Gogeta, anything. Vegito, it has to be like decent, and I'll drop all the money. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.